Welcome into the Landry Football Podcast Network, getting you ready for the start of Week 3 college football games. Always need to keep an eye on recruiting. It's another busy weekend of visits happening across the country. You have them in major games, and particularly this week in the SEC towns. We're going to take a look at about a dozen or so of prospects, some of the best in the country. It's not a complete list, but we can only get to a few. Peyton Bowen, if you're not familiar with him, he's from Denton, Texas. He is a really good-looking prospect. He's a safety, 6'1", 185. He committed to Notre Dame in January, but Texas A&M, Oklahoma, and other programs have continued to pursue the Denton, Texas native. The four-star safety, he's really good player. He's got good range. Being in College Station this weekend could be huge. We'll see what the atmosphere is. It certainly could affect positively or negatively how things play out. Anthony Hill, Bravion Rogers, or other expected in town that could intrigue Bowen. Jalen Brown's also going to A&M. Obviously, that big game against Miami. Double dipping as the Miami Gulliver prep star, four-star prospect, a wide receiver, is happily committed to LSU at this point, but he's looking at Miami and A&M. So he gets to go to A&M. Excuse me. He knows, very familiar with the Miami location and the facilities. Gets to go to A&M and see a game there, even though he's committed to LSU. Getting to see both teams there also is a plus for him. Malachi Coleman to Nebraska, an athlete from Lincoln, Nebraska. He's a good-looking kid. He's a big kid. He's 6'5". He's 160 pounds. He's a four-star athlete. He was at Nebraska's game against North Dakota. He was in attendance for the Georgia Southern loss. He's going to be back and watching the Oklahoma game and Mickey Joseph's first game this weekend. So it's at least a positive they get the kid in, but he's a local kid, so it's not much of a difficulty to go to a game of that ilk. Nicholas Harbor, another athlete, good-looking kid that is Michigan, USC, LSU, Maryland are some of the main contenders for him, but so is South Carolina. He's, again, a five-star kid returning to Columbia, South Carolina to see Georgia and South Carolina play. So I know that I think South Carolina playing well in this game might have a positive impact. But that's right now, he's kind of looking at Michigan, USC, LSU, and Maryland at this point. Really good player, but a long way to go in recruiting. I wonder where Georgia may be able to be in the mix here if they're able to begin to work him. Anthony Hill going to Texas A&M. You can follow the big recruits going to the biggest games. And it's, if you look at Georgia, South Carolina, it's maybe not a great game. A&M, Miami, a lot at stake, big game. Anthony Hill from Denton, Texas. Again, locale, 6'2", 228, inside linebacker, class of 2023. Texas believes they can flip this kid. So we'll see. He's an A&M commitment. Again, long process. It's 3 months, but 3 months can be long in the recruiting process. Verbally committed to A&M. Obviously, this is where the on-field part and the settling down of the loss to Appalachian State or the further tumult in a game like this is going to be interesting to watch. And will it affect a kid like this who, again, has some other options? Jordan Johnson Rubel going to the Texas game. He's a IMG kid from Bradenton, Florida. But it's likely that he's a Texas kid. He's going to end back home to Texas. Getting him on campus for the Long Orange is big. Oklahoma, TCU, other kids that are other schools that he's interested in. Tony Mitchell also going to A&M from Alabaster, Alabama, Thompson High School, a long corner. Interesting to see because there's Alabama, there's A&M, believed to be in good position to perhaps beat out Alabama. The four-star defensive back said as much that he likes A&M. So this is going to be interesting to see how the Alabama commitment and how things continue to play out for those programs, maybe the atmosphere at A&M, how much of an effect it might have with him. Could be a smokescreen, you never know, but he's been intrigued by A&M for a long time. Getting back to that College Station environment is definitely huge, and particularly if the Aggies play a little bit better. Samuel Impemba is going to the LSU Mississippi State game. Georgia's the team to beat here. He is, excuse me, I forget sometimes to mention who they are in case you don't know. He's a edge rusher, a weak side defensive end from IMG Academy. Georgia's the team to beat. Miami, Notre Dame, or others that are in the mix with the 5-star. But visiting to Baton Rouge is a big deal. This is a big setting. I think that the history of LSU's really strong edge rusher, defensive line play, linebacker play, overall defense could be a real positive here. Good performance. I think good performances, is one thing. That the excitement level is what they get caught up into. So if you play well, the fans are really more into it and exciting, and it gives a great feeling. I don't think the performance on the field of how good they are or not, I think that has a little impact. Players want to play. Players want to see the fit. Players, want to see how things are going on. So I just think this is going to be an interesting game for him to be able to watch and view the atmosphere. I think it'll be raucous. The one thing about LSU crowds is that they tend to turn on their team if they're not doing well. So this is a case where a kid like this could have a real positive impact or negative feeling as a result of it. Desmond Ricks also going to visit the LSU game. He's from IMG Academy as well, playing at a big-time school that produces really good defensive backs. Kind of the same thing with him in terms of the atmosphere. He's a big corner. He fits kind of what LSU has done in the past. He's a 5-star kid. Alabama's got maybe a little bit of an edge. Florida, Miami, and others are in the mix. A major environment, again, in Baton Rouge could blow them away with the relationship with position coach Robert Steeples. I think it's a big factor there. Roderick Robinson to Texas A&M from San Diego Lincoln High School. San Diego, California. It's a 4-star running back, off to a really good start this year. He's been committed to UCLA since May. He has reiterated numerous times he's locked in with the Bruins, but Robinson has now taken a visit to A&M, and we'll see. Georgia has been reaching out as well, want to get him to come visit there. Seem loyal to UCLA, but the SEC environments like College Station could change things a bit. So we'll see how this plays out. James Smith visiting the Auburn-Penn State game. Thought more kids would be going to this game. He's from Montgomery, so it's a local kid. He's going to have – Auburn's got a big contingent of recruits coming to the game against Penn State. And this is one of their many targets. And the Montgomery Carver defensive tackle and his close friend and teammate, Jaquarius Rushaw, are both going to be there, along with others. The two have talked about playing at the same school and being a package deal. And this is one where it's likely to happen. I think they're really close. Alabama and Georgia have the edge right now, but Auburn is looking to maybe emerge and develop things, for Auburn to maybe have a good performance. Obviously, big for Auburn because a performance like this against Penn State, positive with the uncertain future of Brian Harsin. Big for Auburn, but look out for Alabama and Georgia as the leaders here in maybe a package deal for both of them. And then another A&M visit, Hakeem Williams, 5-star receiver from Fort Lauderdale, Stranahan High School, is close to committing. It may be about a week, 10 days. There's a lot of people believe he's headed to Florida State. A&M, is in the picture. So we'll see how the visit goes to A&M this weekend. The Aggies were definitely the team to beat in recent months, but Florida State's have closed the gap. So I think he's a big fan of Mike Evans, so being at Kyle Field and the atmosphere may be a factor. Look, we keep you up to date on recruiting, analysis, and information. There's a lot of recruiting sites out there that generate a lot of, and they all do a really good job gathering information. What we try to do is provide you information directly from the coaches on the recruiting process. And I try to provide some brief analysis and on LandryFootball.com, more detailed film room analysis of these prospects um, as we do for college programs. So with the NFL scouting and the college recruiting coordinator background that I have, we try to help in that regard. So we give a little bit more of a realistic of who's good and not just who the 5-4 and are they really good, because how many 5 and 4 stars do you really have? You know, some of the 4 stars are really 5 stars. Some of the 5 stars are really 4 stars. Some of the 3 stars are 4 stars. And some of the 4 stars are 3 stars. So getting a good feel from a qualified, trained evaluator and a trained eye is, I think, important rather than just the hype stuff, because I think that's where there are a lot of these misses that come through with some of the amateur recruiting sites. So we'll give you the information. That's why we invite you to join LandryFootball.com for our football season sale all year long. You can not only get game breakdowns for the college game, the NFL game, but you get recruiting information, you get draft information, you get college free agency in the transfer portal, you get NFL free agency. We've got it all for you at LandryFootball.com. Please do a couple of things for us. Sign up for the Off the Hook YouTube channel where you can get this YouTube video, but also sign up for the Landry Football Podcast Network where you can get all of the football content we provide for you there. If you're a fan of a particular conference, sign up for that conference. That it's conference name, football and beyond. So it's SEC football and beyond, Big Ten football and beyond, so on and so forth. So check it all out. Check out LandryFootball.com. Try out our football season sale. It's the best offer we have going. If you want to, try it for a month. Enjoy the games. We'll keep you up to date on the recruiting, the future, and the lifeblood of college football. So long, everybody.